everybody, welcome to Tales at 2 again this afternoon here at Cedar Run. I'm Miss Erin. Anyone who's joining us for the first time, welcome. We hope you enjoy our little program this afternoon. So we are doing these every afternoon, weekday afternoon at 2 p.m. We're also doing Spring Saturday surprises every Saturday afternoon at 2 as well. Try to switch it up. Sometimes we have animal things, sometimes we have some read-along, sometimes we've got a cooking demo. So we appreciate everyone who is joining us for the first time, but also my friends that come back every afternoon. So hi everybody again. So this afternoon we're going to be doing something a little different. I wanted to do a wildlife trivia with all of you. At the end we are going to have a wildlife visitor, so hang on and you'll get to see somebody cool at the very end. So I'm going to give everybody a minute or so to get moving, make sure that we join the stream before we start with our questions. As you guys know, Cedar Run's Nature Center is closed, but our hiking trails and our wildlife housing area are still open, as well as our wildlife hospital, admitting any wild animals that need our help. So hopefully you all can get out in the next few days, because it's supposed to be really nice, and you can come and visit with us. But, of course, you have to remember social distancing, right? Social distancing is the way to go. So make sure you've got your mask, make sure you're staying 6 feet away from people. We want to make sure that we can remain open, just like all the state parks are reopening now. We want to make sure that everyone's obeying our rules. So now that I've given you all a couple minutes to join the stream, hopefully there's a good amount of people watching, I want to start our wildlife trivia. So I've got some questions. I know we sometimes have a little delay, but I'll try my best to give you all a couple seconds to answer before we go on to the next thing. So my first question for you all is, what animal has the longest lifespan? So I'm not going to make you all just shout it out and type it out. I do have multiple choice, so I'll make it a little bit easier. So what animal has the longest lifespan? Is it A, the blue whale, B, locust, C, elephants, or D, the giant tortoise? All right, so which animal has the longest lifespan? Give you all a couple seconds. Our answer for this one is D, the giant tortoise. So these guys are very, very large. They live for a very, very long time. And they actually can live up to about 150 years, making them the longest living animal on the planet. So these guys can live even longer in captivity. So captivity is when they live with humans. So these might be ones that live in zoos or something like that. The longest lived one is 177 years old. So in contrast, those blue whales, 80 to 90 years. Albatrosses, 50 years, and elephants, 50 to 70 years, which is pretty good. Okay. So my next question, some of you guys may know this one off the top of your head. What is the fastest animal in the world? Is it A, the cheetah, B, peregrine falcon, C, the horsefly, or D, the roadrunner? So we're looking for the fastest animal in the world. Dun, dun, dun. The peregrine falcon. So everyone always knows that the cheetah goes very fast. Lots of animals go very fast when they're running, right? But the peregrine falcon is actually the fastest of all the animals when they're flying. So these guys, when they fly straight ahead, they go about the same amount as the cheetah. They can go 60 or 70 miles an hour. But when they're diving, when they're dropping out of the sky to catch their food, they go over 200 miles an hour. So cheetahs go about 60 miles an hour in only 3 seconds, super, super fast. But they can only do that for a couple seconds. They can't maintain that 60 mile per hour speed for very long. All right, horseflies actually are even faster than cheetahs. Those little guys that are about that big can go 90 miles an hour when they're chasing after something. We also have the roadrunner, who everybody thinks is fast because of cartoons, but they only go 20 to 25 miles an hour. Right? And if you guys have ever seen Wile E. Coyote, right, he chases the roadrunner, that guy actually does go faster than the roadrunner does. He goes about 35 to 45 miles an hour. So our fastest of all the animals, peregrine falcon. All right, next one's kind of a funny one. A lobster's teeth are located in which part of its body? Lobster teeth. I don't know if you guys have ever seen lobster teeth. It's kind of a funny one. So is a lobster's teeth A, in its mouth, B, in its claws, C, in its legs, or D, in its stomach? So where are lobster's teeth? I'm sure you've all seen at least a picture of a lobster if you haven't seen a real one. All right, so our lobster's teeth are located in its stomach. Kind of crazy, right? So these guys don't have official teeth like ours, but they have something that's called a gastric mill. So it's kind of like a grinding up thing. That's located in their first stomach. They actually have two stomachs. So their first part of their stomach kind of grinds up their food like teeth, and the second part of their stomach is where their food grows, right? All right, next one. What type of bird is the only bird that can fly backwards and upside down? All right, backwards and upside down. A woodpecker, B, a hummingbird, C, a wren, or D, an eagle. So which bird can fly upside down and backwards? It is our hummingbird friend. So these guys, because of how their wings are made, they actually can move them 180 degrees in their sockets. So they're able to move their wings in lots and lots of directions, and that makes it so they can move up and down, backwards, and all around. And the speed of their flight helps them to do that too. So our hummingbirds can move upside down and backwards. All right, this one's kind of a weird one. Some of you guys might know this one. A horn of a rhino is made of what material? So rhinos have that big old horn, right? Is it A, keratin, B, skin, C, bone, or D, cartilage? So anybody that doesn't know keratin, keratin's like our fingernails, right? Cartilage is like our ears and our end of our nose. It kind of moves around a little bit. So do we think our rhino is, which one of these? Whose horn is made from? Alright, keratin. So the rhino's horn is made of something similar to our fingernails. So it's going to grow, it's going to get bigger. It's not hard like bone, it's not soft like cartilage and like skin. It's got a hardness to it, but it's not as strong as a bone would be. So rhino's horn is made of keratin. Alright. What is the largest rodent in North America? Is it A, the gray squirrel, B, the beaver, C, the groundhog, or D, the porcupine? So which one is the largest rodent in North America? So rodents are guys that are like mice and rats, right? So what do you guys think? The largest one in North America is the beaver. So adult beavers can get up to 60 pounds. They average about 40, maybe 45 pounds. So that's a really big guy if he's 60 pounds, right? But they can be a little bit smaller, but they're still much larger than all those other rodents that I named. So compared, squirrels weigh about a pound, maybe a pound and a half. Groundhogs that you find in your backyard, about 8 pounds. And porcupines, maybe 15 to 25 pounds. So our beaver is by far the largest of the rodents in North America. So he doesn't look like a mouse, but he's related to a mouse. They've got similar kinds of teeth. That's what makes them rodents. And they're going to be growing all the time. So rodents have teeth that grow all the time, like beavers and squirrels, like those guys. All right. What animal has the most legs? All right, this is a tough one. Is it A, the octopus, B, the millipede, C, spider, or D, caterpillar? So which one of these guys has the most legs? Tough one. You're all being quiet over there on me today. So the animal with the most legs, our friend the millipede. So even though they're called millipedes, and milli means 1,000, they actually don't have 1,000 legs. Most types of millipedes have 600 or so legs. The one that has the most has about 750 legs, which is still pretty good. And our friends, the other ones on my thing here, are octopus. Everybody thinks they have 8 legs, but they actually have 8 arms. So these guys are going to use 2 of their arms, sort of like legs, and then 6 of them are like arms. All right, spiders have 8 legs, and caterpillars are sort of tricky. Caterpillars have 3 pairs of real legs and 5 pairs of fake legs. Okay, so they have a lot of legs too, but not nearly as many as the millipede, with about 750. Okay. What sense? Ooh, getting windy. What sense do birds lack? Does that mean what sense do birds not have? Is it A, sight, hope, B, hearing, C, smell, or D, taste? What sense do birds not have? Birds do not have a sense of smell. So there are a few types of birds that do have senses of smell, but most birds cannot smell things. They're using their hearing, they're using their eyesight. They don't have very developed senses of taste, but the large majority of our friends, the birds, do not have senses of smell. The ones that are a little bit different are our friends, the vultures. Vultures need to smell the dead things that they like to eat, right? Seabirds, so birds that live very far out into the ocean, they're able to smell things too. And parrots and kiwis also are able to smell things. So there's a few types of birds that do have a sense of smell because they need it to help them find what they're looking to eat. But most birds are using their eyesight and their hearing. Couple more questions, friends. All right. What animal's home is called a dray? What animal lives in a dray? Is it A, a snake, B, a raccoon, C, a bat, or D, a squirrel? Who lives in a dray? So my friend, the squirrel, likes to live in a dray. So squirrels' nests are a little bit like a bird nest, but they're more of a clump of leaves. So they're going to be up in a tree, but they don't usually have a lot of sticks. The squirrel's not sitting on top of it like a bird would. Instead, they're crawling inside the big bunch of stuff. And that's where they're going to have their babies until the babies get large enough to be out on the ground. So a squirrel lives in a dray. All right, last question, friends. What is a group of hawks called? Is it called a parliament, a covey, a kettle, or a murder? A group of hawks. What are they called? So we always hear of birds being flocks, right? And things like that. Other types of birds have different names that they go by. So our friends, the hawks, are called a kettle. And they call them a kettle because they're kind of spinning around in a circle, right? Like a kettle or a bowl, like that. So these guys, when they soar all together, especially if they're migrating, they're all going to be circling on the wind or circling on what we call the thermals, which is the warm air up in the sky. So not every hawk is going to do it, but lots of hawks that like to migrate, but when they're grouped together, they call them a kettle. So our other words for parliament, parliament is a group of owls, right? And another word for a group of owls is actually a wisdom, right? A covey is a group of small birds that are game birds like quail and grouse, and a group of crows is called a murder. Right? So our hawk friends are called a kettle. So since we ended on our friends, the hawks, just to give you all a little fun Friday afternoon adventure, we're going to check out one of our hawks. All ready to meet one of our hawks? So some of you guys may have met this friend before, but I like to share him because I think he's pretty cool. So this is our red-tailed hawk, and his name is Aldora. So I'm going to get him out of his box. So you guys, if you come to see Erin, you'll notice we have lots of different types of hawks here. Red-tailed hawks don't form kettles all that often, but we do have red-shouldered hawk and a broad-winged hawk. Those guys do like to migrate, so they will sometimes kettle together. So red-tails a lot of times will migrate short distances. They don't typically go too far, but sometimes they can. So this guy is Aldora, and he's one of our older residents here at Huron. He's been living here since 2001, so we've had him about 19 years, which is a pretty good life for this guy. So when we're talking the oldest lifespan of that giant tortoise, right? I said he could live longer in captivity. This guy is going to live much longer in captivity too. So if you're a hawk or any wild animal, living through your first year of life is the hardest one because you're learning about the world. If you're a hunter, you're learning how to hunt. If you're an animal that other animals like to eat, you have to make sure nobody eats you, right? But once you get past that first year, usually you do okay. And in the case of red tails, usually they live maybe 15, 20 years in the wild, but they can live to be about 25 or 30 in captivity.
Pale male is 30.
Huh?
Pale male is 30.
Pale male is 30, yes. There's a hawk in New York City called Pale Male. So Aldora is with us because he has an injured eye. If I get a little closer, you guys may be able to see. He's got a nice big brown eye on the right side sort of grayish eye on the left side. And that eye was injured after he got hit by a car. So unfortunately, he can't hunt very well. He doesn't always see where he's flying, right? And he wouldn't be able to monitor what's going on around him very well. So once we realized that his eye couldn't be fixed, we knew he had to stay here at Cedar Run, and we had to keep caring for him. Right? So, do you guys have any questions about my friend Aldora? You're all being quiet. I bet you're all outside because it's really nice. You're going to watch this later, right? So I'm going to finish up for this afternoon since you guys don't have too many questions. But if you're watching this later on replay, feel free to ask any questions. We do check back on the feed and answer any questions that we may have missed. And hopefully you guys all have a great weekend. But also I hope you join us again next week for Tales of Two. So have a great one, everybody. See you later.